How you doing, everybody? Randy Richard in the shop, and this will be the last update on the shop addition build. And I'm all done, other than some doors on the partition between the addition and the old shop, but that will be just a separate build. And but I'll just kind of go over real quick some of the finishing touches I've done. And that we got all the machines in here and all that good stuff. Also in the video we'll have just a brief overview of the airline, but I'll kind of talk about that now, and a new tool for the shop. So let's take a walk around real quick and kind of show you what I did. Yeah, so over here we have my stainless steel table that goes back and forth and it's up and down and everything tilts. That I got for my sister-in-law out of the hospital. It's a medical table. It's kind of got a little dish in here for those body fluids, you know. My everyday roll-around box, general tools, screwdrivers, wrenches, pipe wrenches even, all that kind of stuff, punches, hammers, all that good stuff. Everyday box, work out of this constantly. Needs a little cleanup on the top, obviously. But then I moved all these blue cabinets that were inside out here. So we got two of them over here. The wood top that was on it there, right out here with it. And it's pretty good. It's going to work out as a pretty good work surface right here. I got a small surface plate on here. My computer's on here for now. A little shelf for the monitor up here. And my two machinist boxes here. This was my grandfather's, so it's really, really old. A lot of good tools I use out of this, everyday tools here. Probably most of the time I'm using the stuff out of here, but I have some things in there that I would use a lot. But these cabinets here, this is like all metrology, mics, depth mics, all that good stuff in there. And over here we got this is reamers, taps, lathes, miscellaneous lathe things, which for Logan lathe really, inserts, end mills, this is more milling stuff, fixture plates, generally things you'll be using on the lathe or on the milling machine. So we got the milling machine over here in the corner, lots of lights. All the equipment has their own lighting, so super lighting. It's actually, the lighting's working out great. All LEDs. We got Keith Rucker's decimal chart up there, so it's kind of handy. Got some here's my 5C collet collection right here. That's about it. Right there. Not a lot of collet, 5C wise really. But anyway, that's this corner. So over here I have the lance lathe, lights, tool holders, all that stuff, just pretty much standard. Truck key out in the rack. There we go. I was just doing some stuff yesterday. My little table on the end down here. Usually I have my small tool, small toolbox, which I took off here, but usually I have that sitting here. Might go back on, we'll see. But I have the lance lathe in here in the middle like this, so I can have stock go out the back end, not hit anything. Also, I also have room to pull the tray out. The chip tray will actually slide out, and there's room to pull it out in the back to clean it. And then over here, again, the rubber mats are all in here. The third blue toolbox from inside is out here, and there's going to be a lot of tool changing what I have in here. I have a lot of, this is all my tools I used to use while working on aircraft. So screwdrivers, and there's redundant wrenches, and so we got the Logan lathe back here in the corner. I have my rotary phase converter mounted back here and sitting in the corner for the Hardage lathe. And this red box, this is a roll around, that is the drill grinder and drill grinding stuff. And drills, and that's all that's dedicated to is drills and drill grinding. Tool rack, Up here for the Logan lathe, all the quick change tool holders was mounted on the wall. My Starrett chart up here. This is just clean rags, canned, good stuff under there. You know, a few things sitting in the works of being moved still. You know, tooling. I don't have this all set up yet, but a few more things to do on that. Put the controller back up on there, but it's in place, and that's where it's going to be. Your own lights. So if you're going to work at a station, you have a really good lighting and can see everything real well. And one thing I've done is I put down rubber mats. I just got this done. These are 4x6. That's how big when you buy them. They're 4x6, 3/4 of an inch thick. They're stall mats for like horses or cows and things like that. $46 a piece. Tractor Supply. I've been using these for years, and people ask me about chips getting them. I never had chips embed in them or anything. They're not like super hard, but they're pretty firm mat. But it gives you a lot of cushion as far as walking on. Better than the hard concrete. Pretty tough if you drop a tool or a part, it won't get dinged up. But I've got it all around the mill and all underneath and around the lathe. This whole area is covered with the rubber mats. This is the rubber mat. Now this is a section from the old mats. I used all my old mats, and on another one I had outside, and cut those up, which we used to use for the horses. But anyway, all the old mats came out from where I was using before around the lathe and milling machine, and I recut them and all that. So it's a little big puzzle piece thing. I bought 4 new mats. This is the old one. They're 3/4. These were fairly smooth. This is kind of a rough texture, light rough texture on the bottom or one side, and this was a smoother side. Now this is the new mat, fairly smooth on one side, but on this side has these pucks. They're 1 inch by at least an 1/8 inch high puck. Now, though that'd be hard to sweep and clean, so I put this side down and kept the smooth side up, just so you know. But still, total thickness is 3/4. So putting them together, they all perfectly matched up as far as height goes. Little discolor, that's the coloration you see difference is because there's old mats and there's new mats. But these worked out. These worked out really good. Now these are fairly easy to cut. I just use a regular utility razor knife. You know, it takes a few cuts, but they're pretty easy to cut. Or on these rounded things, I used a jigsaw. Just jigsawed them out to get around things. That worked really coarse blade and worked out perfect. One of the other things I did is I 3D printed all of my switch plate, receptacle plate covers, and mounted with brass screws. I put a logo coin on them and a few other things here. We'll kind of zoom in. Voltage of the circuit. Now this says main panel. That's the main panel on the shop, on the back of the shop, the main breaker panel, where the other ones just say breaker, and that means it's in the sub panel. And what breaker number it is, and what's the amperage of that circuit. Now somebody's going to ask why the colors. There is nothing. It's because I had red and I had black. So they're either red or black in here, and it's just the way it happened. No special meaning to the color. But I do like the red ones, but I do like the black ones too. This is in the original shop, the old shop, but now the wood shop. So over there, I got one of my benches that was over here, moved over here. Yeah, everything got moved around. So I got my press over here, my drill press, another grinder, fiber wheel or wire wheel, fiber wheel over there in the corner. My tool cabinet that has, like I said, grinding wheels and things like that in it for the surface grinder. A new tool. Here we have my bandsaw, which you probably can't see. My surface plate, bandsaw, tool cabinet, roll around one I made a long time ago that is the same height as my bandsaw table, so it acts as a rollout table, has rollers, my cabinet bench and my table saw shaper, things like that. So we've got a lot of room in here now, and things have been all moving all around, but we're getting there. This is still work in progress. Over here, so I have a welding in this corner. That cabinet came from the inside of the shop. It came from back from my hangers. I made a couple of those years and years ago, and works good. It's holding all the welding kind of stuff in there now and stacked on top. My welding table and oxyacetylene, the gases for the welders, and the TIG welder on the cart, bandsaw, and there's plugs right there in the wall for those things. The surface grinder right there, and the plug of course for it's right there, and the controller, and the cabinet that I had in the other shop, just threw it out here for now to hold some surface grinder stuff, that sort of thing. I have a file cabinet in there that has full of all my grinding wheels and things like that in the other shop. Then we have my roll around grinding bench over here behind the table saw. This is the table saw I'll be restoring very, very soon. I have some other things I have to get out of the way first. But this is my little roll around grinding table, and my portable bandsaws on here, and buffing wheel, and 2 bench grinders that I can just roll around, plug in, and it's ready to go. And then I have another little red roll around cart sitting over here right now with some milling machine stuff and lathe stuff that will have to get moved to a better location and stuff. So this area is fluctuating on what's going to be done here. Yes, I'm going to keep the area in front of the power panel clear, pretty much. So I got a few other things laying around, but in the way, but we're getting there. So that's a brief look at the setup that I have going here, and let's jump over and do a quick overview of the airline stuff, and then we'll get to the new tool, and yeah, and then a little quick recap. You can see the blue line goes up and around, and I have drops. The blue line is the airline. I used a 3/4 inch Maxline. That's what I had in the other shop. I've had it for quite a few years, but I just teed through the wall. So the Maxline, I just came down on the inside over here on the other side. We punched through the wall and teed off there and just teed it right here and ran it around. It's a good height. I don't, I can put stuff above it. Like I said, I want to build a rack up here, a material rack above the door. So there's plenty of room for that, and there'll be plenty of room for me to put my doors that are going to go on the opening over here. That they'll slide back into the corner. I got drops in each side of the roll-up door, drop here by the surface grinder, and 2 drops over there by the mill and the lathe. I think I'm going to add one more over this side though. This is my typical air drop right here. Well, a little bit atypical, but discount that. I put a 45 elbow in here, and then my Provost high flow air fitting here, and it has a drain right here. All the manifolds have drains, and on this one I machined a 1/4 inch MPT in the side port, so I have a valve here, and this is air to the machine. So I have air here for the power drawbar and blowing chips out and that sort of thing. So it's pretty nice. I can just turn it on. I don't have to get a hose out every time. It is connected with a hose, but I don't have to disconnect it. Anyway, so this is my typical air fitting. All the drops are like this. Plug in. This one's a dedicated hose I have for over here at the milling machine. So anyway, so these are high flow ones if you've never seen these, and this is quite a bit bigger than the typical 1/4 inch fittings. So they work really well. I've been using these for a while. This is my friend Gary. Gary and I have known each other for
45 years.
45 years. So he's old. We used to work together on the ships, the same company. We went to college together. Yeah.
So
He had to move to my town though.
yeah, I live in his town. He grew up here. So, but he came over today and gave me a hand, and we did the airline. But we got it all done today, and thank you, Gary, for coming by. This kind of thing is hard to do with one person, but we got it done. It's really nice, and it's all pressurized.
Good, it's functional.
Functional, no leaks. And thank you, Gary, for coming by and giving me a hand. Heading out early. That's the sun through the smoke. It's still miserable here. Down the road, and heading up to the San Francisco Bay Area, San Jose, to pick up something new for the shop. I'm getting down in here to the valley, and the smoke is bad. It's far worse down here than at our house, but just bad. So I just got back on my little trip to the Bay Area, and I'm going to show you what I picked up. It's kind of a small item right there. It's just a small table. So this table is 72 inches by 72 inches, which I don't know how many meters that is. It's a lot. Millimeters. It's almost 2 meters square, right? 3/4 inch aluminum plate, machined. It had been machined on top. This was only part of a jig at one time, and this was the vertical part of the jig, and it was all machined. Then they took this part off, and they decided to make a table out of it. So it has massive understructure here to keep it flat and straight. Very cool. All aluminum, steel legs. I have wheels for it. So this is going in the shop. It's an awesome table. And it's all drilled on I think it's 6-inch pattern. Yeah. It's all been drilled. I'm not sure what the threads are. There might be 3/8, 6-inch hole pattern on there. It's going to be an awesome work surface, and to fabricate on and whatever on. So it'll be pretty cool. They were using it as a welding fabrication table. So it was quite the find. So my friend Gary, his son found this table and knew I could use it or Gary could use it, and Gary didn't want it. So I picked it up. So we'll get this thing unloaded. All right, this is the underside. Here's from one of the sides. You can see how it's tapered, webbed, all welded in. So this is all aluminums, actually. And I'm going to go around over here. This is the large end, and then over here, same, right? And then on this end is where it just comes up with the ribs and tapers out, basically to nothing. So now we're thinking, my son and I are buying this together, and we're thinking of maybe cutting this in half. And if we cut it that way, right between those ribs down there, we could probably get it pretty much cut right in half and have 3 by 6 foot tables, which would really work out for me, and it'd work out for him in his shop. It's space limitations. But for now, this is going to be an awesome work surface. Takes up a lot of room. Let's leave it this way. I'm probably going to leave it this way for a little while and use it like this and I'm going to build my doors for going on here, and I could use this surface real nice for welding and stuff to make those doors on. The hole pattern is 6 inches square, and they've put really nice steel inserts in the holes, and they're 3/8 16. Now there's a few other drilled and tapped holes over here. All these other holes, a couple extra holes here, somebody drilled and tapped, but for mounting stuff. It was a railroad car coupling testing jig originally, and this was the vertical plate to it. So it had another horizontal plate, and they cut this off and turned it into a table and cleaned up all the edges are nice. No, this has a few little wavies in it, so maybe this was the edge that they had to clean up a bit. So that's the table, the new table for the shop. Now for the official branding of the shop. And let's see how this goes. Six. Not too bad. The shop is now complete. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed that. That new table is going to be kind of fantastic addition here. I'm using it already, and got it as a work table. So we'll see whether we end up cutting it or not. Who knows? It'll be down the road if we do. But anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed the quick tour, and I hope you enjoyed the build of the shop edition. And we'll keep going to get back into regular videos. I kind of screwed up my elbow and a few weeks back, and so I haven't been doing a lot in the shop. These rubber mats are really tough here still to do because my elbow's been feeling a little better, and so I pulled a tendon down in here, and it's extremely painful, and so it just takes time to get better, type of thing. So I'll be healed up pretty soon. A few more weeks probably. But anyway, we'll get back on regular videos hopefully, and some more, obviously more machining stuff. And we have some interesting things going on, some projects. I want to restore this table saw, and it needs some work. And I know there's some parts I have to make for it and things like that. But we'll probably get on that as soon as possible. Well, thank you guys for everybody coming along on the adventure of building the shop edition. And I have to thank all the supporters of my channel by buying tools from me. And there's going to be some type of a plaque set up with everybody's name who bought a tool from me this year that were supporters of my channels. And they're going to have their names on it. So there's not much time. It's just for this year only, the people who buy tools. So I'm going to have some dovetail cutters available still to help get this thing paid for. But, you get a product, and I think they're pretty nice products. And if you watch other videos, you'll see a lot of people out there on YouTube who use my tools. Anyway, I do have some scribes, and I do have some dovetail cutters available. And I still need to make some more big ones. But I do have some available, or you can just pre-order, and I'll be getting them out very soon. But anyway, thank you everyone who supported me, and the patrons I have on Patreon were big supporters of this, and I have to thank them especially. And any contributions are always welcome. But anyway, thank you for everyone's support and watching the videos of the build. Couldn't have done it without you. Let me put it that way. I should have done this years ago, and this COVID thing kind of pushed me into it a little bit because I knew I was going to be home a lot. So anyway, thank you again. Just thanks again, and I hope you enjoy the video. And we'll be making a lot of videos in here, so we'll get going on that really soon. And I'm already filming some stuff, so that's we're getting it going again. So thank you guys. Thanks everyone for watching. So we'll talk to you later, and we'll see you in the next one.